Hey everyone, Matt here. It is Wednesday. That is the main event time where we go over our main topics for the week. So if you're watching or listening, this is the meat and potatoes of the episode. If we happen to have any news to discuss as well, that's where we'll talk about it here. For the full episode, check us out on Saturdays. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, broadcasting from the frozen tundra that is New York State. Don't ask what our temperature is in Celsius. You will cry. I guarantee it. Joined, as always, by RJ from Do You Take Cards. RJ, how are you dealing with the tundra that is this terrible place?
I have alternative heating on right now. I got the gas fireplace going, which is surprisingly good at heating the backside of my house. So I am toasty warm. It is 15 degrees outside, and we're getting 8 inches of snow tomorrow before noon. So I am not very happy with Mother Nature at the moment.
And I'm supposed to go back north tomorrow. Awesome. All right. And finally, from the lovely confines of not New York, we have Tariq from Reek's Rewards. Tariq, how are you doing today?
I'm good. And unlike whatever frozen hell y'all are dealing with, it's 64 here and I'm feeling okay.
I hate you. I hate you so much right now.
RJ, the Packers beat the Saints, so I don't know why you're giving me the bird. All right. Enjoy the win that I didn't care about because the Saints suck.
34-0, which is going to be the title of this episode.
That's fine. Again, my day ended with sports when UTSA won the Myrtle Beach Bowl and we destroyed the beach chickens of Coastal Carolina.
There's a Myrtle Beach Bowl?
Yes. They're followed by the famous Idaho Potato Bowl in Boise. I love college football.
I'm just going to let that hang there for a couple more seconds because, yeah, you can take your blue field and just go away. And we're going to move over to our news roundup and topics. News roundup, we have one piece of major news that was announced. I don't know how much we'll get into this, but Capital One and Discover have gotten one step closer to their merger becoming complete. Recently, the Delaware state regulator who would have to sign off on this merger has done so. Next will be the shareholders for both Capital One and Discover will have to approve the deal. That is most likely going to be perfunctory. There's no known activist investors jumping in and trying to extract even more value out of this deal. So that should be fine. And then there will be the Federal Reserve System will also have to vote to approve it. That has not yet happened, but Capital One and Discover both believe that this deal will be finished in early 2025. That is like the 50,000 foot view I can give you, because I don't want to go as deep into the Delaware state, whoever it was, because I did a video on it and I can't remember the exact wording of it at this time that we're recording. RJ, Tariq, any thoughts on this merger getting one step closer?
May this be the catalyst to change Capital One's lineup to not have 17 of the same card? I don't think it will be, but I can ask Santa Claus really nicely for it to be.
Come on, RJ. You know the best they're going to do is the Capital One it for good credit.
Half of those 17 cards are going to be on the Discover network, and then the rest will be thrown across the MasterCard and Visa networks.
They're going to leverage that Discover network for those good credit cards to try to get as much money as they can between the subprime lending rates and possibly higher interchange fees.
Buckets. They've got buckets. All right. That'll do it for the news roundup. I don't think we have anything else major to say there. We'll see what happens. So we're going to go to topics of the week. And RJ, we'll have you kick off our topics because yours is the most interesting to me.
I think we talk a lot about our own personal card collections on here, our wallets, what we have, why we have the things that we have. So I wanted to ask my co-hosts of your co-hosts that are president, so we're not using Lonnie's wallet for this. simply because he's not here, so he can't explain, potentially what's in there, what's not, things like that. So I wanted to keep this fair. If you could trade wallets with your co-host for a year, you do not have to pay their annual fees.
Nice.
Whose wallet are you taking for the year and why? Tariq, I'm going to go to you first.
Had to be the day we didn't have Lonnie. Honestly, we talked about our like our setups in the pre-show, and I'm gonna go with Matt's card lineup, and mostly because he has the Sapphire Reserve, and I could use that as like a tester to see if it would be worth product changing or even doing like the downgrade upgrade game or the downgrade reapply for the Sapphire Reserve for the the mile or for the extra points on that to see if it's worth potentially going to some Sapphire lounges, going to go just explore what Chase has, the extra point that we get for travel would be nice. And then the big chunk of it would be to kind of get my hands in the Wells Fargo ecosystem. Matt is the unofficial Wells Fargo guy in the credit card community. And so I kind of get to see what the hype is. And it would be really great if I would have the Wells Fargo set up and Wells Fargo just happens to, in this hypothetical situation, drop their transfer partners while I have Matt's wallet. Because then I could really see what those Wells Fargo points would be, like how much value I can get out of those Wells Fargo points with new transfer partners. And, the Attune is really cool. That's probably the big one. I'm like, I'll try out the Attune card. And I don't feel like applying for it because, I might get denied.
Now, I didn't say you get access to their cache of points. I just said you get access to their wallet. So you would have to create your own points before you could use them. But I like your reasoning.
Wells Fargo makes it really easy to gift points. So whatever points he
go.
earns, I could always throw them to him.
There you go. I also am choosing Matt, and I'm choosing Matt for similar reasons. But he's got cards in Amex, so I can go home. I can lovingly embrace the Blue Business Plus card, and feel comfort in my soul. He's got a Hilton card, so I'm good there. He's got Wells Fargo, so I can use Choice. And then he's got the Sapphire Reserve, so I have some lounge access. I can book Delta through the portal if I really wanted to, or just go with United. So it does give me some flexibility. He's sort of, as much as he talks about Wells Fargo, he's actually fairly evenly spread out as far as what he could do. I'm not saying it is what he does, but what he could potentially do. He's pretty well evened out across the board. So now we're putting Matt in the situation that he has to choose between two wallets for his co-hosts who both chose him, which I think is very interesting. Matt, whose wallet are you picking?
Oh, I'm gonna pick yours for now. The wallet that you currently hold, RJ. Nope. I'm sorry, Tariq. Like Tariq, the most interesting card you have to me is the IHG card, and then your second most interesting is like the World of Hyatt Business. Both sort of interesting. I don't love the World of Hyatt Business, but like the IHG card would be carrying a lot of weight. Whereas with RJ, I get to experience the hoopla that is the MX Centurion lounges. Just like everybody likes to talk about the Centurion lounges. Tariq, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to let me into a Centurion lounge. Then it's RJ's also got the choice card at the moment. The choice card is somewhat interesting. If I could also carry over the benefits of like holding the cards, not necessarily the point earnings, but like my choice platinum or what is it? Choice, yeah, platinum.
Platinum, yeah.
Yeah. With my stays, like what does choice platinum get me when I'm staying? Because right now I'm Hilton Gold. I'm Hilton Gold for like another week. I didn't stay enough nights to carry over for next year. Hilton Gold is like fine, but like it's not amazing. Like the earning rate's amazing, but like everything else is kind of like, okay, cool. It's I have silver. It's not drastically different from silver aside from the food and beverage credit, which anyway, before I go on deep tangents, I can see what Choice is all about. I can see what the Centurion Lounges are all about. It gives me a different look in the things that like I have my hands in different ecosystems, as RJ said. It's, would I want to pursue going down the American Express rabbit hole? RJ advocates for it a lot. She tells me how much the green card would benefit me. I could see if it's worth it because I have the no frills green card that still keeps me very happy. And I don't pay an annual fee on and have worse transfer partners with, but whatever. I've got the three major alliances covered. But RJ's wallet, present company, RJ's wallet would probably be the wallet that I would pick because I would be picking Lonnie's wallet if he was here.
I take no offense to neither of you taking my selection. I get it. Also, I don't even love a World of Hyatt business card, and I have the damn thing.
That said, upgrade to the Sapphire Reserve. You'll be a much happier person.
Until that annual fee hits, and then he will cry for months and months.
Oh, it's not even cry. It's just complaining so much that y'all would have thought I was a Karen.
I mean, anyway, no, I think this is interesting. It's always interesting to like take a step back from your setup and consider somebody else's setup and how that setup might actually work for you versus not. Because I am interested in the Wells Fargo cards that Matt has. Wells Fargo wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole at the moment, so it wouldn't matter. I have to get to April and May, and then I might have a chance of getting something new and shiny. But I did just get a mini sub from Amex, so that's always very nice. But yeah, this was fun. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, RJ. Tariq, your topic of the week.
All right. So we are a Points and Miles podcast that typically leans more on team travel. So since we're wrapping up the year, and for the most part, travel has been, done with the exception of like maybe some last minute holiday trips that we don't know about. So I wanted to ask for, my co-host, and again, I wish Lonnie was here because I would love to hear his thoughts on this as well. What was the best trip that you took this year? It doesn't have to be strictly with points and miles. If you paid cash and it was still the best one you did, it was the best one you did. It was free 99, even better. So I'll start with mine first. I've mentioned it a couple times, but went to Chicago at the end of July. I did points for my flight and then the first 2 nights of a hotel. The other nights was girl partner's school organization paid for the rest. But I was in Chicago for like 5-6 days. It was beautiful. The Hyatt Regency that I stayed on was on the 33rd floor, different credits. Was able to walk down the Magnificent Mile and, I, was a tourist and tried to act local, but I was in reality the biggest tourist. And I went to go see 2 White Sox games, where the second one I went to was the biggest blown lead that I've seen in a while. So all in all, it was a great trip, and I am very nostalgic, and I miss Chicago every day, and I can't wait to go back. So Matt, what was your favorite trip or your best trip this year?
I would say the New Orleans trip for the creator meetup in around Labor Day was the best trip of the year. We redeemed on JetBlue going down. I got to experience Breeze Airways on the way back. Kind of told me that JetBlue was the better domestic lower cost option. Breeze has some work to do, and the A220 and Breeze just did not mesh well for me. But overall, like spending the time in New Orleans was awesome. Bringing my partner down to that trip was awesome. Meeting everybody at the meetup was awesome. Meeting up with Lonnie at the meetup was awesome. We got a suite at the Eliza Jane in New Orleans, which was really sweet, which was really awesome sweet. The Eliza Jane is not on Bourbon Street, so that's nice. And it's far enough away from Bourbon Street that you don't hear Bourbon Street, which is great. If you're staying on Canal Street, Canal is close enough to Bourbon where you're going to hear everything. And I'm just glad that I got that nice separation. So, yeah, and I learned that New Orleans is the other city that never sleeps. New York, you're working all day. New Orleans is just a dang party all the time. So, the New Orleans trip for me.
So I don't know how loud or how lively New Orleans nightlife is, but I wonder if the hotel that you're staying at is high enough to where the noise pollution isn't that bad. Because I was at a Tommy, which is like a sub Thompson hotel in Austin, and I was like right on 6th Street, and I heard the noise, but I'm sure it wasn't as bad as if I was a little bit lower. But you know.
No, I've been to both New Orleans and Austin, and New Orleans makes Austin look like Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You know what? I need to go to New Orleans. That is all I need to say. I haven't been in years, and I was a kid, so now I got to experience it as an adult.
There is a place in New Orleans that I will once again find that has a baked potato the size of your head that you walk up a stairway with red lights,
My head, there's no
and
way.
there is a giant steak. And I went there when I was in college with a bunch of friends, and I cannot find this place. I have Google mapped the entirety of New Orleans to find this place, and I cannot find this place. And I will, listeners, if any of you have been to New Orleans and know what I am talking about, like, if you know, just tell me. I'm begging you because I've looked for this stupid place. There's a bar downstairs, and you go up a set of stairs, and there's like red light. It's not the red light district. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But like, it's just there are red lights, and there you get food, and it's like steak and baked potatoes and whatever. But the food was amazing, and I need to know what this place is.
Please leave comments in the YouTube comment section or the Stack Your Points Discord, or email us at stackyourpoints@gmail.com. Sorry, stackyourpoints@gmail.com. Please let RJ know about that location. I was not aware of that location, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, Tariq, when you go back to New Orleans, let me just say, Decadence and Mardi Gras are maybe not the best times to go to New Orleans. Not to say that they aren't parties all day. They are very different parties.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. Part of my bucket list, and that might change like because of my life situation, was to go to New Orleans during Mardi Gras. But I don't know if I want to do that crazy. Part of me wants to, part of me doesn't. You know,
It's a certain style of crazy. You'll probably have more fun with Mardi Gras.
Yeah. So I've heard. But yeah, looking forward to that. Plus, I got family in New Orleans. So it's always good. It's always good to go back and see my kinfolk. RJ, what was your favorite trip of 2024?
So my favorite trip of 24 is probably when I went to Louisville. I took my parents to a soccer game there. We had amazing seats. It was a great time. First time I ever went to a Delta Sky Lounge. Went to the one in LaGuardia, which if you want to go to a Delta Sky Lounge for the first time, the one in LaGuardia is the one to go to because it is giant and gorgeous and quite nice. It was great. We had a great time. We flew first class because that is the only way I will get on a plane. And we had a great hotel. There was a great coffee shop that we went to every day we were there. They very nicely, we went there one last time before heading to the airport. They very nicely gave my stepdad a cookie, which then TSA proceeded to take as he went through security because there was something in the cookie that they couldn't identify. And I think the TSA guy was hungry because it was a giant chocolate chip cookie. But yes, they stole his cookie.
They knew exactly where that cookie came from, and they were annoyed that didn't have time to go there that morning.
Shame on those thick-necked TSA agents. I would have kept my cookie. I would have just ate it at that point.
Yeah. It also was the first time my parents, because I have TSA pre-check and all of that, and they don't. It was the first time that we flew together where I got to use pre-check and they did not have it, and they saw how much easier my time was. And now they both have applications in to get global entry because TSA pre-check is also part of that. So I think it was a very good demonstration between the lounge access, between TSA pre-check and all of that about I like to travel. And I think it made it easier because we have not booked something that is not first class and how I like to travel since when we do our family trips. So I think they understood why I pay a little bit more and have a little bit more fun when I travel.
There
I
you go.
love that. Also, Louisville, was that one of those it was an NWSL match?
Yes. It was an NWSL match. Um, it was a lot of fun. I love watching soccer in person. I've been watching the NWSL for a very, very long time. And being able to go and get really good seats. It's Louisville's a really good city to get around in. And amazing food, just truly like I love brisket the way people love their children. Like brisket is one of my favorite things on this earth. And Louisville has just truly amazing brisket. I had some Pappy there while I was there as well for bourbon, and it was a good time. I my stepdad and I had over $1,000 bill in bourbon. We went to a bourbon place that you could have pours of the bourbon, and we went a little crazy, but it was pre-planned, so we had budgeted for the crazy, and it was great.
You had me all up until you said Louisville had the best brisket.
I don't think I said they had the best brisket. I said they have very good brisket.
I, I, I,
I
I
don't like Texas style brisket very much. I like more of the Midwest brisket. Um, or the upper South brisket, depending on who you're talking to. I also really don't like Carolina style because I don't like mustard. So, like the Louisvilles and the Memphises and all of that is more my speed as far as brisket goes. I'm sorry, Tariq. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry because I don't know what kind of beef you eating because brisket is Texas barbecue. That's just what it is. But aside from that,
Explain burn ends, please.
that's we talking about Texas brisket. We ain't talking about no burnt ends. We just talking brisket. Okay.
Sorry, it comes from the
Don't
same piece of meat.
I don't care. It ain't Texas brisket. It ain't slow. You know what? You
I
see
love
my
that your
Texas.
accent is starting
Yeah,
to
yes,
like,
my
you
Texas
never have an
drawdom came
accent until
out.
you talk brisket.
Until I talk about my beloved state, Texas, and the good parts of the state, and we're not going to talk about Texas without Texas barbecue. Okay, Texas is the capital of barbecue. Thank you very much.
You know
Anyway,
what? You know what, Tariq? In 2025 or 2026, I will fly down to Texas and you can take me. I will allow you to I will give it a fair shake. You can take me to the best Texas barbecue place and I will give Texas barbecue a fair shake. How's that?
yeehaw! I will take that, partner.
I don't know. All I want is some Carolina pulled pork now. Anyway, um, you don't know. Anyway, we'll go to my topic, and we'll go with this. Earlier this year, Hyatt and American Airlines rolled out a new set of features for their joint partnership. And what it used to be was you could earn Hyatt points on American flights and American miles on Hyatt stays if you had status with both Hyatt and American Airlines. So it was American Airlines Gold and Hyatt Discoverist at minimum. You could earn reciprocal points. That is going away, but there are a number of new features. One of the features to Hyatt and American is you can spend 5,000 Hyatt points and get American Airlines Gold status for a day. You can spend 8,000 points to get American Airlines Platinum, and something like 12, either 12 or 15,000 points to get American Airlines Executive Platinum status for the day of your flight. Which leads me to ask, would you use miles or hotel points to rent status for a day to potentially accentuate the first class seat or the suite in a hotel that you were going to book anyway? If you're going to book the flight that you want or book the hotel accommodation that you want. So would you rent status for a day using points in your ecosystem, in this case like Hyatt points for AA or AA miles for Hyatt? I think you can, it doesn't quite go the other way, but if it did, would you do that for the stay that you're already planning? Tariq, you're mad at me about barbecue, but would you do this rental, as it were?
So if those were like the accurate numbers, 5,000 for gold, 10,000, well, whatever the amount was, I mean, that's looking at as low as like a category 1 night upwards to like a category 3 night. Now, if you're able to earn like a stupid amount of Hyatt points, say you got the World of Hyatt business card when you got that elevated offer, and you don't plan on staying at a bunch of Hyatt points and you know you got AA flights, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, if you can afford to burn 15,000 Hyatt points and you're able to get executive A, executive platinum, and you kind of get to have that experience. And then if you like it so much that you're like, hey, let me go for this status. Like that could be a good incentive. That could be a good way for you to actually see if you actually, have a like see value in the status aside from RJ's strategy of just pay for the seat that you want, which obviously we know that still may be the better option. But for those that actually want to have status, say you're the business, the job that you have, they do a lot of business travel and they're with AA, that might be an incentive. Maybe you'll start, you'll end up getting an AA card and start putting a bunch of spend on it and get the loyalty points for it. So I think it's a good option for those that want to do kind of like a trial run and see. I don't know if I would do it, every time I have a flight because, depending on how many, like what status level you have, that may be a good amount of Hyatt points that aside from getting a bunch of subs from Chase or maxing out like the Freedom Flex 5%, 5X category, they're not really, there's not many good ways to earn outside Hyatt points aside from paying for a hotel stay on a Hyatt card. So good for test runs. Wouldn't do it as like a long-term status strategy.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that would be putting me off would be I would have to have American Airlines Gold and Hyatt Discovers to start with this. So renting Gold doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Um, if I have the reciprocal,
So you don't. I'm looking at the website now.
okay.
Explorers and Globalists will be able to redeem status for the day gold through Platinum Pro, offering in airport benefits. To redeem, simply go into your account. So you don't seem to need AA status at all for this anymore.
Okay.
You do have to be a globalist or an explorist. So globalists and explorists can do gold status for 5,000 or platinum status for 8,000. Only globalists can do Platinum Pro, and that's for 12,000. So you don't need the AA status anymore. It's purely on your status with Hyatt.
Got it. Okay. And then going the other way, the AA miles for a Hyatt category 1 to 4 is however many thousands of points. And then you can also do like a category, I feel like it's a 1 to 7, but it could also just be like a 1 to 5.
That one is harder to find.
Yeah. That's on the AA side. So if you don't need status to get these reciprocal benefits. Would you, as a Hyatt explorist, if you're a Hyatt explorist, rent gold for the day?
As explorers, yes. I
Okay.
think for the 5,000 that you get, it would be worth it because 5,000 is not a lot, and for the most part, that's only going to be like a category one
Yeah.
Hyatt hotel, and you could still earn a decent amount. Like five, it would be 5,000 chase points or 5,000 bill points, so you can get that back relatively quickly, depending on
Yep.
your spend. Platinum Pro having to go for globalists to get it seems like a lot of work, and at that point, I almost feel like you'd be better off just going the AA card route and just earning that status naturally. As crazy as that sounds.
I have the numbers. So for 100,000 AA miles, you can get Discoverist. For 175,000, you can get Explorist. It also has 250 for Explorist, so I don't know if the wording is wrong there or what. Um, for 400, 550, or 750, you can get a category 1 through 4. And 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, you can get a 1 through 7. I don't I can't tell from this side if you have to like cash in those points or if it's just what you have. The website is not super clear.
If you want Discoverist and a category 1 through 4 free night certificate, just pay the $95 for the World of Hyatt credit card because that is atrocious.
It seems I did not come fully prepared to this week's topic because I thought it was much simpler than all of this because I forgot about this. So if your airline is offering is offering to give you status with your hotel of choice, just get the status from the hotel of choice easier. And going the other way, maybe renting status for a day is okay, but yeah, it doesn't seem like a great deal to me. RJ, any thoughts from you on this one?
So for me, I don't ever see a situation where I would rent airline status. Because I'm booking first class. I'm gonna be on the plane when I want to be. I'm gonna have the seat where I want to be. I'm gonna have the service where I want to be. Like there's really nothing that status is going to give me other than maybe a thank you, ma'am, as I'm getting on and off that I would get an extra syllable or something. Like it's not gonna get me anything, right? Where hotel status could potentially move me from a standard room that I did want to a suite. Now, I'm not like, I don't dislike suites. I just don't often see the point of paying for them. Suites to me are first class to everybody else. Like, if I have a bed and I have like a nice bathroom, I don't understand why I also need a living room in a hotel. It's just that is a me thing, right? That is a everybody's mileage might vary. I just don't get it. I could not live without first class. So it's that thing of like everybody's tolerance for certain things is going to be a little different. So for me, I would much rather have hotel status and maybe I get upgraded to a suite. Maybe I get an extra bottle of water. Maybe I get a little perk like that. Than airline status where they're like, thank you for having platinum as I'm like going down the bridge. So yeah, I would always pick hotel status. It would be interesting because I stay at places that are not connected to airlines. Like the hotels I'm staying at don't have any sort of reciprocation with Delta, so it would be a little odd, but if Delta was like, hey, for, this many points or this many miles, 10,000 miles, you can have diamond or, you know, extra special platinum at Marriott or something. Maybe. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. It also depends on my point balance, right? Like if it is a true you have to give up those miles or points and not just that's your balance, then we'll see. It depends on where I am in my life. But I think I honestly am surprised that airlines don't and hotels don't actually let you rent status for like a trip. Like, I'm surprised that they're not like, pay us 50% more and you can have the next highest status from what you have for this trip. Just because that seems like such an easy way for some trips to just have an insane amount that people would gladly pay for certain events. So I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Maybe 2025 it will.
Yeah, and if you're worried about the cost overruns on that one, just don't give the extra points that you would normally give someone who organically has that status. You just, give them the points on the status that they have. So if I'm Hilton Silver and I want to rent Hilton Gold for a day or Hilton Diamond for a weekend, I'll pay whatever extra I have to pay and, only make what, 18 points per dollar, whatever, for the hotel stay if I'm doing cash and whatever else. Um, no, that all makes sense. Let me just say, with regards to suites, the extra door is nice. Door to the bedroom, door to the room.
But
I'll
I
say
am
this. Oh,
traveling myself. So I
That's
don't
fair.
care. Like when I'm mostly traveling with other adults by myself in a room. So it's a little bit of a different beast. Again, everybody's mileage might vary because I totally get why, especially if you have a kid, like why it matters. The only person that ever stays with me when I'm on a trip is usually my nephew, and he'll just crash on my couch because if there is a couch, because he wants to get away from his sisters. So, I occasionally will bucket him into the trip depending on what's going on.
There you
so
go.
at least for suites for me, it's one of those, yeah, it's nice to have. Um, it's nice for a flex. Like if you have a partner and like, yeah, if you want to do something that, you know, introduce them to the points and miles game and you want to do it in like a nice redemption for people that always ask the question, how do I get my partner on board in the game? That might be a little thing that be like, hey, we can do something as nice as this. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's not very often where when you're traveling, you're gonna spend a bunch of time at your hotel. I could see it for like maybe a business trip where you're just staying when you get back to your hotel room and you want to just chill. But if you know, if you're out in Chicago or New York or wherever city and you want to actually explore the city that you're in, it's not very often you're going to be at the hotel. You're going to be just to sleep for the most part. So a room is a regular standard room is sufficient as long as you have enough walkable space.
No, that definitely makes sense. And my sincere apologies for not properly setting up this topic this week because I did not realize that those numbers were that. I forgot that those numbers were that wild for some of those things. So my apologies. I will try to come up with a better topic next week. Maybe Lonnie has to come back so that I can brainstorm and steal something from him before the podcast starts. All right. So that'll do it for this week's topics. If you like what we do, always please hit the like and subscribe button. Please hit the 5 stars on the podcatcher of your choice to continue to expand out our audience going forward. If you want to leave us a comment, please do so on the YouTube video of your choice. You can always join the Stack Your Points Discord in the description below. And feel free to drop us an email if you have a question, stackyourpoints@gmail.com. Tariq, if we wanted to find you on the internet, where is the best place to find you?
On the interwebs is going to be obviously the Stack Your Points Discord and Reeks Rewards. Technical difficulties, life happened with work, so I wasn't able to record and drop the video. I apologize sincerely. I did want to drop the video. I just ran out of time with life happening. There will be a video once I get back from travel. So 2025 is the year where I'm going to hunker down and get the priorities done. And that is my word, my promise. And I love y'all and I appreciate the patience. And I'm going to shout y'all out in that video.
There we go. That's okay. I shot a 13-minute Chase wishlist video, and then at the beginning of recording tonight realized, yeah, there's like 3 other things that I meant to put in that video. So I'm going to be re-recording that after we finish here and dropping it on Christmas Eve. There we go. RJ, where's the best place to find you on the internet?
Find me at Do You Take Cards on YouTube. Find me in the Stack Your Points Discord. Find me, thankfully not on a plane to the southern half of the US, because family likes to give me heart attacks before Christmas. What can I say? They enjoy seeing how far my points and miles can stretch at the last minute.
Luckily, those things did not have to happen, and travel tomorrow or later today, if we're being honest, probably might have been a little bit of a hassle, as in no planes anywhere, because the Bombardiers and the wind do not get along. And the CRJ and the snow, as much as it's Canadian, snow defeats it very easily. All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of Stack Your Points. We will see you next week. If Lonnie's still on assignment, we will see what we have to do from there. But thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.